Awesome. And I will start sharing my screen. So, um, I know there's people that probably missed this back probably in November, I think, give or take, is when I gave my last kind of build your brand using AI. Forgive me because I'm on the mend from a cold here, but I'm not my typical super happy, excited self. So Cherry is actually going to take most of this, but this is kind of an extension of building your brand using AI. And really now that you got your brand built, even if it's not in AI, how are we going to maximize AI to make us better online, if you will? So, oh, change where I'm clicking here. There we go. We all know, right? Social media matters. Oh, hey, Sarah, welcome. You made it just at the start. Awesome. Um, so we all know why social media matters, right? Your online presence it's your first impression for a lot of people. There's now, I think it's Instagram and LinkedIn, believe it or not, are showing up on Google searches. If you have your profile set to public. Um, with Instagram being on there. And I think actually maybe it's Facebook. Either way, if your profile is set to public, like Google's pulling that information from Meta right now. So being able to have those first impressions are going to be very good, just in general, on your social media pages. So a lot of people are looking at what you're posting. If your profile is public or if you have a separate business page, they're looking to you for information. They're looking to you for you to click with, to vibe with. And I think I've said this before, but found this to be a very interesting fact. People, when they see you on social media, especially videos, when they see you on social media, their brain reacts the same way as if you had had a one-on-one interaction with them, like in person. So your brain cannot differentiate that. So again, just obviously a big reason why social media does matter is because people feel close to you. As weird as that sounds, people feel close to you on social media. So we've talked before. I talked before about building your brand voice, right? You want to make sure that you're using that brand to kind of stay consistent. If you're using it correctly, it's going to make you sound friendly yet still professional. But it's going to give you that visual identity as well. And that can be, I mean, they have colors over here, and if you did do the build your brand presentation with me, and if you didn't, just let me know. I can get I had put together a worksheet of how to break that down one by one and build your brand on ChatGPT. But you can truly build it out to colors, scenes, things like that, to help you grow and to maintain your personality, maintain who you are, to consistently go back to. So, welcome, Ashley. Thanks for joining us. Just so the Sarah and Ashley, as you guys just joined, I am recording this. So, at least I hope I am. I clicked the record button. So, just a quick, I mean, a lot of this is going to be refreshers. So quick platform overview. Facebook is really good for community engagement, sharing detailed client success stories. You could do a little bit longer form on this, but as we all know, you start reading something, and if it's not really good, we're backing off of it. But it's really good for building relationships with local audiences and leveraging groups. So Jerry and I were in a meeting the other day, and they said, "Hey, what do you think is the most used platform in real estate?" Do you remember what the answer was? I actually just curious for everybody else. Drop it in the chat. I want to know what you guys think. Got Facebook, Facebook, Ashley coming up with YouTube. Believe it or not, it actually is YouTube. It's the number one content absorbing for real estate. People want to hear the stories on YouTube, that whether that's YouTube Shorts, longer form, learning information about the process, things like that, success stories, etc. Instagram is still great, right, for visual storytelling. That's going to be your pictures. From my understanding, a lot of that, some of that is going to be a lot of it really is going to be more personal. People will look that up just to kind of learn about who you are, but it's also great to showcase some of the cooler listings. Like I've seen people doing like Wow Wednesdays. That's a shout out to you, Ashley. For some different pictures that are, awesome homes. TikTok, still definitely the Gen Z, and you're going to get the most likes, views, etc. if you're really staying authentic. The trends can work, but if you can even put your own twist on the trend, things like that, that's going to help. And then YouTube, yeah, the long form and the short form, because they do have the shorts. But that's where you can do like, neighborhood guides, right? Walking through a neighborhood, and it can still be short 5 to 10 second clips of this, 15-second clips of that, but then putting them all together and really kind of build a neighborhood. Like, hey, learn about this neighborhood. And people are going to look at that, or hey, learn about the process. Really detailed home tours, things like that. I click the next button here. There we go. So this is, yeah, just talk about some content that gets views, right? And you guys have probably heard this plenty of times before. Your hook has to be within 3 seconds. It's like some of the hooks that I've heard before, and you can always ask ChatGPT or any of the AIs that you may be using, hey, I need some good hooks for short form video. That's like, I thought I'd seen it all as an agent until I saw this, right? And you walk into a hoarder's house, or carpet in the bathroom, which not unfortunately not all that uncommon, but hook within 3 seconds. You want to have compelling visuals, stuff that makes people want to watch, right? High quality images or high quality video. Your content is competing with millions of other posts, so make yours impossible to ignore, something that people just they want to see. And then the other one too is showing real results, right? So if you had an awesome success story, just talk about it. Hey, I just came, here's your hook, right? I just came from the most awesome closing. Here's what happened. And then you tell a little story about like, hey, they didn't think that they could buy a house and this was the situation they were in, and here's how I helped them. And you want to, same thing, really you want to be trying to keep those 15, 20 seconds or less. I know they a lot of times say 30, but you want to get them on the hook, give a reason for people to watch, and go from there. And just kind of test those, right? You can go back and look at your old reels or whatever you're doing, and do a check to say, hey, what is working, what isn't working, what's getting you more views, and just keeping track of that so that you can consistently grow. Like I said, I'm going to rush through some of these things because I know you guys have heard these a lot. So here's some, probably the top five, according to ChatGPT, actually. These are going to be the top five essential post categories, the top five things for agents specifically to be posting about. Local market updates. Everyone wants to know what's going on in their neighborhood. Everyone wants to know what their house is worth. Everyone wants to know, like, hey, is the market picking up? Is it slowing down? We saw this on the news. Just you really want to you can use this, I should say, to position yourself as the market, like the authority in that market, whether it's Grand Rapids or you get even smaller into Hudsonville, Jenison, Byron Center, Kentwood, all the above. Just local market updates to position yourself as the market guru. Client success stories are always a good one, right? Everyone loves a feel good story with all the negativity that's going on. Celebrate these homeowners, ask them if you could take pictures, closing photos. That's again where you can talk about like the path that they went, especially if it was a difficult deal, things like that. People do love home tours and home tips. That can be seasonal tips too, right? Like, hey, winter's coming. I kid you not, I would have forgot to unhook my hoses this year from my exterior spigots had I not seen about 20 agents saying, hey, unhook your hoses from your spigots, because I was so busy, I almost forgot. Um, but getting in front of people, giving them home tips, but then also home tours, right? Those Wow Wednesday home tours. And I'll talk about some cool ways to be able to do that down the road as well. Educational snippets, really short, right? Really, really short. Um, very quick little thing on what is title work and why do I need it, right? Um, Keep it short, make it make sense. But then, most people really don't care about title work and they're probably not going to read into it, but you just never know. Make it short, take something complex, make it easy, make it digestible, make it understandable. And then mortgage myths versus facts, or homebuyer myths versus facts. If you remember, if you're talking about mortgages, definitely recommend reaching out, Jerry, or myself, your preferred loan officer, whatever it is, and just say, hey, I've heard this. Is this true? If I make a post like this, does this work? Am I lying? Am I saying the truth? Anything like that. Um, but there's a lot of misconceptions. I bet probably once a week I have somebody call and say, hey, like I don't have the full 20% to put down. Cool. No problem. And people are like, really? Like, yeah. So it's amazing how much there's the saying, people don't know what they don't know. Hard part is it's amazing how much they still don't know after everyone has been saying all of these things. Sometimes it just takes a friendly reminder because they heard it from their uncle. Here's a couple quick video content ideas that work as well. We're going to go a little bit deeper into this later on, not necessarily specifically for video content. And then if you guys want to, just friendly reminder, I can send this presentation out. I believe everyone on here right now, I have your email. So if you want it, just shoot me a text, email, whatever, drop it in the chat. I can send it out to you. But so some video content ideas that work. Day in the life, right? People love those day in the life. Hey, what do realtors do? Right? You and I both know that the majority of the time you guys are out like playing golf, going trying new restaurants, like you guys don't actually work. People want to see that. Or they want to see that you do work, right? And they want to see what it is. What does it take to shop for homes? What does it take when you guys are looking at off-market properties? What does it take when you guys are looking at, um, you know, old listings? How are you guys doing that search? What are you guys showing people, honestly, what you're doing to win in this market? Because people want to know if they're in this market and they've heard how tough it is, they want to know what you are doing, what separates you from other people to win. Quick market updates, right? If you guys ever need information on that, feel free to reach out to Jerry or myself if you're curious about rates and things like that. But then also just like general, I know GRAR provides a ton of stats about what's going on. Don't just show the stat, give the why behind the stat too. What does this mean for you as a home buyer? What does this mean for you as a home seller? First time home buyer journeys. People love just that can be if you don't want to be on camera, that can be a little bit of just you talking, right? Talking into the phone with some pictures that happen throughout the way. Maybe some of the different houses you looked at. But people really want to hear those success stories. And then neighborhood spotlights, right? Everyone loves to know, hey, like what's the best local dive bar? Nobody talks about the dive bars necessarily. But it could be a really good thing if people are looking for dive bars, or check out this neighborhood, it's up and coming, or hey, they're building a new a whole new construction neighborhood, and this is what they're expected to have. So some good neighborhood spotlights there. Just as you guys all know, right? Posting consistency is key. Aim to 4 to 6 posts per week or across the platforms. That doesn't mean 4 to 6 per platform, but that can help. There is a spot where it's too much, and you just have to tracking everything is going to be key. Scheduling tools. I've got one later I'm going to talk about that's really cool as well. But then, Meta Business Suite to really time block, create those posts. And the more that if you're doing this from a business page standpoint, it will give you recommendations on when your peak engagement times are. One more real quick before I hand this off to Jerry. Some of the best practices, we'll talk about this again more later, but respond to everything, right? If there's a comment, a direct message, respond to that within a day. It's going to hit the algorithm better and your stuff will show up better and it will show up better for your database, your sphere of influence there on social media. Um, polls are huge to get responses, right? Questions are huge to get responses. Quizzes are huge to get responses. Have those interactive. It's going to spark conversation. The more people that like it, comment it, the more you're responding on that, that is going to push your stuff for the algorithm more. And then follow up content, right? Hey, last week I talked about this. This was really popular. Let me dive into this on a deeper scale. And then each one of those deeper dives that you do, it can be five deep dives, but each one of those five is going to be shallow. It's going to be different topics about that single one. So I'm going to take a break, try to drink some coffee, clear my stuff up, and hand it over to Jerry.
All right, so I'm sure we all use ChatGPT, but part of using it is using it correctly. So it's easy to just say, like, hey, write me a script. But it's better if you ask it more specifically, more specific questions. So stop asking AI to write posts and start asking it to think for you. So instead of saying, write me a script for first-time home buyers, instead say, what would a nervous first-time home buyer worry about in this situation? Or what objections will sellers have to this pricing? How would a listing agent negotiate against my offer? Like, start thinking about the roadblocks and the things that could go wrong, and then you'll get a lot better information from ChatGPT. All right, Mike, I need you to be my clicker. All right, so this is a great thing. If you have a client call, a client testimonial, a story that happens while you're, doing a walkthrough of a house, you can turn a conversation into 10 pieces of content. So either type up a summary of what happened or what the call was about into ChatGPT, and then say, turn this into 3 posts, one real idea, one email, and a frequently asked questions that buyers would Google, and see what it gives you, and then use that to create your content. So that real piece of conversation, it's human, it's real, and that's going to turn into marketing that people actually want to read and find value in. All right, so you can also use AI for follow-ups. This isn't really about posting, but just about having conversations with your client or with the other agents. So here's a situation. A client toured a house, liked it, but they're scared of the payment. So you can give AI that situation, type that in, and then say, write me 5 natural follow-up texts over 2 weeks that don't feel salesy. And then once you get your response, I found like taking what you like and say to ChatGPT, I like this part, but can you change this part of the response to say this? And the more you ask, the more you dive deep with ChatGPT, the more it knows you and knows how you like your responses and the better responses you're going to get from it.
The more you put in, the more you get out.
Yep. So going along with objections, if you can think ahead to what objections you might get before you get them, you can be ready on the spot when you get asked a question. So before a listing appointment, put all the property details into ChatGPT and then ask, give me 7 concerns a seller will have and how to address them simply. And then come into your listing appointment with that information ready to go because you know what they're going to ask. You can do this with other things too besides listing appointments, this buyer's worried about mortgage insurance. What can I tell them that will help ease their worries? And just have that information ready to go, even if you have to jot it down somewhere so you have it and you know what to say.
So Got a little bit more life left in me here. Um, One thing I really wanted to touch on, I know this is what a lot of people actually come to me and ask about, hey, what are some of the best tools that I can use to boost my engagement on social media, boost what I'm doing? The obvious two, right, are Canva and CapCut. People love using those two. They're easy, they're the most well known. CapCut is tied in with TikTok, so you can post right from there. TikTok loves it when you use Canva and post directly to TikTok. Or sorry, TikTok loves it when you use CapCut, sorry, and post it directly to TikTok from CapCut. Canva is great to create some general designs that you can use, repeatedly. If you do go with the pro version, you can even create a brand with, that keeps everything up there. Otherwise, just keep with the basic version. And you can still always just, it's going to be recommending your most used colors, your backgrounds, things like that. But getting into the AI side of things, so this captions.ai website, that one is a very powerful website if you guys have not used it yet. They actually started just by creating captions. But they will actually now go in there and do those video editing tools for videos that you've already created. So it will do all the work for you, but it also has video generation options. So it does the editing and the generation. Um, which is just it's a nice feature. Again, there's the free version and the pro version. There always is. The pro version, of course, has more, but it could be something for you guys to look into. Um, but these three have been the ones that short of Auto Reel app, I haven't been using that one much, but Munch and HeyGen are ones that I've been using a little bit more. But the Auto Reel app for real estate agents, I think is a really, really cool thing if you guys are looking to do your Wow Wednesday posts, right? You're really trying to make certain homes stand out that you really like. So what you can do is you could go in, download pictures from the MLS, and make sure you guys are staying compliant because I think you guys have to give credit where credit is due at this point. But you can download pictures of the house from MLS. You upload those pictures into this Auto Reel app, and it will turn those pictures. It will make it feel like you're walking through the house. So it just takes those pictures and it blows them up. It'll spin from left to right. Um, it's a really cool feature that doesn't require you to do videos for these houses. The other thing too, if you guys are doing listings, that could be a really good option rather than paying for somebody to do videos. Because I know that that price is a little bit more expensive. Same thing, there's a free version, there's a paid for version. And I know once you hit the paid for version, there's also a way to purchase more videos from there. It wasn't terribly expensive for the amount of traction that you might be able to get out of it. This Munch.ai is something my wife actually found. And she kind of told me a little bit about it. It has been really cool. I actually can pull it up. I believe I have it up. So I went in there and I'm trying to get rid of the red because the red is really bright. But I went in there and you create your profile and then you create your brand, which I think, yeah, so there's tailored posts, and it will create. So if I go into just this explore, once you've created your brand, you've put in that information, it will create all of these pre-made posts for you. Then you can go into the planner and you can see I have posts. All the white ones are ones that I can post. All these pink ones are ones that will post, and it will automatically post across all platforms, and it is built for those platforms. I wasn't going to show you my insights, but I'm going to anyways because they've been a little sad lately. I also haven't been using Munch. Like last week, I didn't use it very much, but you can see that compared to last week, my reach is up 84%. My engagement is up 233%. It's only 10 things that we're engaged with, but it's up a lot. And it takes me 15 minutes once a week to do this, and it gives you all of the insights. It shows you all the public posts, shows you what's been seen, what people are liking. And then what's cool about it is because it is AI, it is learning from all of this information that it's connecting. So if you would rather not have to go through Meta's business suite and do their um, their, I forget what they call it exactly, but their learning side of things. This does it all for you. And then what's really cool too is every day if you want to, or every week if you want to change things up, you can go in here and you can just click this Inspire Me button, right? This one's, I need content that encourages potential clients to act on their home equity by discussing refinance options available now and their benefits. Click generate, and it will start generating content. This whole page will refresh with new ideas, and you can post those. Same thing. I think I paid for this for a year up front. The price on it was not terrible for the amount of life saving that it did for me, really. Um, so yeah, then the last one here is then HeyGen. So HeyGen, same thing. I paid for this one for a year. If you guys remember seeing the very, very angry Mike screaming out of the window, that was not me. Actually, that was an avatar. I took some pictures of my face and they built that video. And same thing, I haven't used it a ton, but that's another one of those that the more that you put into it, the more you get out of it. I personally have not put a lot into it yet. So I haven't gotten the greatest responses out of it. And I have to, lately, I've been feeling like when I do them, I have to use, seems like I'm using more credits to make it better. But I know that down the road, the more that I use it, the better it will get. But the nice part is too, is you can actually go in and just say, hey, I want a video about this, and you give it some details and you kind of go through and you can actually choose specific pictures that you want in it, and it will give you a voice overlay. It will do all of the work for you. You don't even have to be in it. If you want to, you can also yes, Ashley, I know I need my AI mic to get my eyebrows to move because there was another really awkward one where it looked like I had a whole lot of makeup on too. But yeah, it's really cool because you can just put in an idea and it will start actually to create that video for you. So you can keep working, doing other stuff in the background while it is doing the content creation for you. So that's been a cool one that I've been playing around with. But those are kind of the top three that I think right now I have been using. And then the captions one I've heard really, really good things about, but I spent too much money on AI features this year, so I wasn't paying for captions as well. But I definitely recommend, at the very least, checking out that Auto Reel app, maybe the captions, and then that Munch if you're looking to get some learning the algorithm better, right? And letting AI do it for you, right? I know Sarah had asked for like, hey, how do we really maximize what we're doing on social media? It's going to take some time, but that Munch is really going to help creating those videos. And these are just some great ways, tools to help you create those. Because I believe on Munch as well, if I post something on my own, it tracks that data as well. So it's just kind of cool. Some cool things there, but that feels like about the last that my cold will let me talk here. So pass it back on over to Jeria.
Okay, some do's and don'ts. So, do use authentic photos. Share real client testimonials, obviously with permission. And it's even better if you get their permission to tag them because that opens you up to all of their friends once they're tagged in the post. Um, Genuine property photos, behind the scenes moments where maybe you trip or do something funny or, little bloopers always get way more views than just, kind of polished posts. Avoid generic stock images. So, we see the same kind of images all the time, and when it's just something that seems generic, your eyes just skip over it. Obviously, stay within compliance. So follow the fair housing guidelines, respect copyrights, and just any other rules within your own real estate company that you need to follow. Make sure you're doing that with all the posts you create. And then don't oversell. So you don't want to be too salesy. And the 80/20 rule says that 80% of what you post should be value driven and just 20% should be kind of direct promotion or salesy. And you want to lead with helpfulness and not hard sells. So again, you don't want someone just selling to you all the time. You want value.
So Sarah, like some of the videos that you guys have been doing in your office are that authentic photos, that B-roll stuff, the going around like that stuff is awesome. That's the stuff that's going to be able to get you views. So being able to even find stuff that you're doing yourself is if you can find ways to make it work for you, that's perfect.
And I was just reading what she put in the chat. She said, keep in mind the new rules with what you can show on social media and what needs to be written approval from other agents. All right, so the weekly content planner, he Mike kind of showed you with Munch a way to do that. But if you don't want to pay for an external thing like that, you can plan it yourself and just try to post, at least 4 times a week. So here's a sample where you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Sunday. Obviously, you could switch up the days and do Tuesday, Thursday, whatever works for you. I also think time blocking a time to make the videos is important. So make sure that's part of your routine every week, and then that'll keep you kind of consistent with your posting. So this is just an idea. Monday, tip of the week, share practical advice that helps your audience solve common real estate challenges. Wednesday could be your market update. Friday could be a client success story. And then Sunday, community spotlight, where you highlight a local business or restaurant or some kind of event that's going on, um, and kind of tag that business or restaurant in that post as well. Okay, so the 10-10-5 rule. I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but just posting isn't enough. So the 10-10-5 rule is you engaging in other posts. And you can do this during lunch or I don't know, work it into your day at some point, maybe while you're on the treadmill. I don't know, but go through and do 10 likes or like reactions, whether it's like love, care, whatever. 10 likes or emoji clicks, 10 post comments. So actually comment on someone else's post. Typically, that person will reply back to you and it'll start, a little mini conversation there. And that's really great for your algorithm and it'll keep you kind of in their newsfeed as well. And then 5 post shares or personal messages. And these can be stories. So you can just reshare things to stories. 5 of your own posts, things like that, but personal, not salesy.
The thing with the post comments too that they say with this rule is don't just be like awesome work, good job, congrats. They really recommend like at least 5 words. Asking questions, of course, are even better. But you see somebody go on vacation, you're like, hey, how did you like Branson, Missouri? It's where we went. What campground did you stay at or what resort did you stay at? Stuff like that to really drive that engagement because Facebook and with the same thing with those personal messages. If you message somebody from their stories, not don't just be like, "Hey, that's so cool," because people aren't going to respond to that. Facebook is tracking your messages too because they're going to feel like you have a more personal relationship with that person if you're willing to message them. And when you have that personal relationship where you forcibly create it, they are going to show more of your content in their feed as well.
Yep, we also just got a tip when you're doing like birthday messages to do it as a direct message instead of just writing on their wall because people respond to that and then, Facebook thinks you have a relationship, so then you're showing up more on their news feed.
And not
Um,
to do it actually on the day of their birthday was the other thing that I found
Oh
very
yeah, to do it
interesting.
early, but I don't know how to look that up. They said if you look it up early, like a week before, and then you message people like, "Hey, I just want to be the first one to wish you a happy birthday," like that really sticks in people's minds. But I haven't figured out how to find that on Facebook, but if you can figure that out, that's good too.
Yeah,
Honestly, even the belated birthday, like when it's not on the birthday, I think that gets more engagement too.
yeah, it's
Oh, you can
basically
see upcoming on the birthday feed. Okay, I'll have to
yeah.
look.
It's basically you don't want to be lost in the crowd is what it comes down to. So if you do it on the same day, you're lost in the crowd. You do it on a different day, you're not lost in the crowd. It picks up on the algorithm that it's something more than just wishing somebody a happy birthday, but the algorithm doesn't know that you're just wishing them a happy birthday, even though it's not on the different day. So it's just the idea of not getting lost in the crowd. So yeah, and sorry, Jerry, I just kind of started talking.
No, it's
Um,
okay.
so this is just kind of a follow up on that, right? On that 10-10-5 rule, right? Building those authentic relationships. It's really gonna, help the algorithm out, the active participation, the asking of questions, things like that. And then leveraging those AI tools, right? Which is, the that Munch Studio, the Auto Reel app, things like that. And then yeah, if you're doing it on your business page, going back in there and checking out um, the data from that as well.
Okay, so we have 10 prompts for you guys, and you guys can obviously get a copy of this so you don't have to write all these down right now. But these, we want you to make them your own. So if you use the ideas I gave you earlier about how to type stuff into ChatGPT, I wouldn't just copy and paste these exact prompts in there. I would try to dig a little deeper and get something more engaging. But we have 10 prompts for you. And it's just good if you can't think of what to post one day, look through these prompts and see if something strikes you.
This is where when we did that brand building, or when I did that brand building one back in November or whatever it was, you can say, hey, using my brand, do these posts.
Yep. So one is a listing highlight post. So again, you could copy and paste exactly what it says here into ChatGPT and say, use my brand to create a social media caption and image concept for a modern three-bedroom home, blah, blah, blah. Make it sound like me, make it sound warm and inviting, focus on family living. And you can even type that in, get a response, and then dig deeper and say, actually, can you make it more like this, less like that? And you'll get better responses. So a lifestyle image prompt. So asking ChatGPT to generate an image of a happy family enjoying morning coffee on a beautiful patio. A neighborhood tour video. So ask ChatGPT for a script about living in a friendly neighborhood and touring the area. And then you can include photos of different local restaurants, parks, and communities. So this is one where you could just have your voice in the video and use photos of different businesses in the actual video part. So market update post, we've talked about some home staging tips. Um, Personal branding would be like kind of an about you post, like let me reintroduce myself, something like that. Or for those of you that don't know me, here's what I'm about. Those posts always do really well because people want to know you, right? They want to know you're a real person. Before and afters, people love to see before and afters, how you transformed, this corner of your basement into something different, or maybe a client that bought a house from you, did some work on the inside, and you can, with their permission, share their before and after. People love to see what people do in real life to improve their houses. So those are great. And then anything educational. So again, this is something you could ask ChatGPT, what do first-time home buyers want to know right now? What do, millennials want to know about buying their next house? Something like that, and then use those prompts to get a good idea of what you want to talk about. Seasonal real estate posts, Mike talked about the hoses, those things that are relatable and that everyone kind of needs to do in the different seasons, do well. And then, of course, client testimonials, I think, are one of the best things because you have real people talking about you and what you do well. All right, so our Our ask is that you start creating today, right? Use what you've learned from us. Hopefully, you learned something. Choose your prompt. Um, don't be afraid to ask ChatGPT to dig deeper and get a better response. Either generate content, you can generate images or use your own images and then share it. Even if you don't think you sound perfect, even, if your hair was not perfect in the video, just share it. 9 times out of 10, you're the only one that's going to notice that little thing in the video. So just share it and make sure when people comment on your posts that you are commenting back and engaging back with everyone. Mike, do you have anything else to
That
add?
that's it. That's the end of our slideshow, end of the presentation today. So, like our last one, we want to know what you guys want to know, what you guys want to hear about. So I know last time Sarah had asked about setting healthy boundaries, which and like being okay to say no to certain things. So funny story, there was an agent that I know that they had some clients ask them to schedule 22 home showings on Christmas Day. They fired that agent. The client fired the agent. Um, yeah, and then the husband actually got fed up with it, and he's like, just pick one, just pick a freaking house, because he was sick of seeing homes. But so that's on the list to talk about, setting healthy boundaries, guilt-free boundaries, guilt-free saying no. So we're gonna kind of talk about that. A lot of that is going to be setting those expectations up front, things like that. Just, a lot of it's prep work, honestly. But if you guys have other things that you guys want to learn more about, what Supreme is doing to, not necessarily Supreme, but at least Jerry and I are doing to stand out. If any of you guys are interested in attending like an online top producers conversation, I'd be happy to show one of those. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am not shy to call some of the top producers out there in the industry and just say, hey, would you be willing to teach an online course about what you're doing differently? Um, so while you guys are thinking about that, feel free to drop some of those in the chat. I'll write some of those down. But in the meantime, does anybody have any questions what we talked about today? How to breathe excitement back into business when you feel the monotony or sluggish in the day-to-day grind. I'd like to know the answer to that too, Sarah. I moved companies, but I'm not going to recommend that to anyone. I quit and started over. uh, don't tell, please don't go telling. Why am I struggling? Don't go tell Tiffany about that. Don't tell her that I recommended that. Oh, now it is time to stop the recording. You're right.